44's Mike LaPointe up in Waco. Mike, Waco had a couple of bouts of severe weather already this spring, if I'm not mistaken, and your risk up there, I think, looks a little higher than ours tomorrow and tomorrow night. What are your viewers, what can they expect?
Yeah, it's been very, very busy and very active up here, especially the last 2 Saturdays. And again, all eyes have been on this enhanced risk for the Waco area, Temple, and Killeen. We've been talking about it here over the last couple of days, so we know that the atmosphere is very, very ripe, and it's going to be very active here starting very late in the afternoon on Wednesday, but a better chance, though, of seeing some of those showers and storms that could be severe by Wednesday night. Take a look here at our predictor. This is our future cast. We'll kind of print out here and show you exactly what we are talking about. I want to start the clock here at midnight tonight across the Waco area down toward Temple and Killeen, and we are just looking at mainly cloudy skies, but temperatures really not going to do much with the upper 60s and lower 70s on the board here, and that's because of all the cloud cover. Now by early tomorrow morning, you see a little green flashing on there. There could be a few areas that see a little light fog, but generally speaking, I don't think we'll see much because the winds will stay up enough that it'll keep the mixing going on. And what we are looking at to start the day tomorrow, mainly cloudy skies, but it's going to be a rather warm start. We're talking upper 60s to lower 70s to start the day. And throughout the day, you see the green there kind of showing up here. We could pop an isolated shower, maybe a spotty thunderstorm in the afternoon with the heat of the day, but look at how widespread that is. We're looking at just some hit and miss, especially east of Interstate 35. This is by 5 o'clock. Meanwhile, to the west of us, over toward Brownwood, over toward Comanche, skies partly to mostly clear, and that means that cap is going to take a hit here with that sunshine. We're going to see those showers and thunderstorms begin to move in, and that will break the cap for sure. This is at 11 o'clock Wednesday night. Again, get your bearings straight here. Waco down toward Temple and Killeen, mainly cloudy skies. There could be a spotty shower, but we're noticing a line develop from basically Hillsboro right on down through extreme western Coryell County where Gatesville is, and then as you work your way not far away from Lampasas and San Saba, that's where we see the showers and thunderstorms develop. I moved the clock just an hour ahead, so we'll stop it at midnight tonight. Showers and thunderstorms again getting closer to Waco, but over toward Gatesville, Lampasas, down toward the Burnett area, and you can see another batch moving up from the south down around Georgetown, the Round Rock area. So you'll watch this now that the showers and thunderstorms to our south converge, and they have one big line, a big squall line of showers and thunderstorms rolling right through the Hillsboro area, Waco, Woodway down toward Hewitt. You work your way down toward not only Temple and Killeen, but this is at 1 o'clock in the morning Thursday. Showers and thunderstorms. Some of these thunderstorms obviously will be dropping some hail out there, not to mention we're also looking at some heavier rainfall and some gusty winds, and then it quickly races off to the east. So by early in the morning here in the central part of the state, most of the activity is off to our east and to our north, but it falls apart as it moves off that way. As again, we're starting to see those clouds clear out by later on in the day, and a little ridge of high pressure begins to build in by Thursday late in the day with temperatures in the lower 70s. But there it is right there. There's our enhanced risk covering all of central Texas. That includes not only from Mejia over toward the Corsicana area, but Waco, Temple, Killeen, down far south, as you will see here, Jim, as you know, in the Round Rock and the Austin area. Our main threats starting late tomorrow into the night. You can see I put the large hail in the extreme category, and that is because I think not only do we have enough low-level shear, but we're going to have very strong updrafts with these thunderstorms that move through here. We could see baseball-size hail or larger in some of these isolated supercells that move through the area. Again, it's going to be lining up here, so that's why we've got hail as the big concern right now, followed by high winds. Can't rule out an isolated tornado, can't rule out some flooding in some isolated areas with some heavy rainfall. But as for the rainfall, take a look at the map here. Again, put this into motion for you throughout the day on Wednesday. We really start to ramp it up here late tomorrow night into early Thursday. Maybe about 1/3 of an inch here in the Waco area. Gatesville over an inch. That's what our computer models are saying, and then it gets a little bit heavier down toward the Brazos Valley, over toward College Station. You get the idea there. They could see 1 to 2 inches of rain. But I think timing-wise, again, Jim, back here in our area, it will be basically sometime after 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll see some spotty showers and thunderstorms. That's not going to be the main show. I think after 10, maybe 11 o'clock, we'll notice that line, that dry line and that cold front coming in from the west. showers and thunderstorms will fire up. And again, our main concern here will be large hail, and that hail could be as large as baseballs in some areas.
Thank you very much. Great analysis there, meteorologist Mike LaPointe from our Next Star station up in Waco, Fox 44. For your viewers and some of ours, I know our viewing areas butt right up against each other here in Central Texas. I know you'll stay on top of things there tomorrow, Mike. Now let's head over to East Texas and Tyler, our Next Star station KETK's Marcus Bagwell. Marcus, I know folks in your area probably already a little nervous. You had several tornadoes, including a strong one in your viewing area this past Saturday, right?
Yeah, Jim, that's absolutely correct. We had an EF3 tornado that spanned 2 counties, went 30 miles in a path length from parts of Houston County near the Weeches area, coming all the way up to the town of Alto. That's where we had the most damage come through. That EF3 tornado was very, very big. A grand total here in East Texas of 6 tornadoes, and we could have another one added. We're waiting for a report and an update from the National Weather Service and Shreveport office here very soon. But you're right, people here definitely are on edge, and especially with the timing for us, it's coming in actually as we go late Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So while people are sleeping, the storms are rolling through. So we're really emphasizing that, making sure that people already know to get weather alerts as we go through the overnight. Let me show you the broader view on what we're going to look at here with Futurecast, and we're going to talk more about that storm timing as it begins to pick on up. This is what we're going to see come out of the Waco area. We'll start to see those storms really begin to increase for you over the next few hours, just as Mike was just referring to. But our severe threat here in East Texas will gradually begin to increase after the midnight hour, going into midnight, closer toward daybreak in the morning. And with that line of storms coming in, that would give us our primary concern being damaging wind gusts. Now let me show you what happens during the day for us tomorrow. We're dealing with mainly cloudy skies. A couple of showers could try to form into the afternoon hours on Wednesday, but we're really not concerned about the threat for severe weather during the day for us on our Wednesday. It's not going to come until late Wednesday going into Thursday morning. You'll notice there a lot of the precipitation really not showing a whole lot, at least from our computer model standpoint. But as we move into the overnight hours and especially into our Thursday morning, there's the line of storms coming right out of your area, Jim, and even out of Mike's area down toward Waco that's coming into East Texas. And since we're looking at a line, that would pose a damaging wind gust as a primary concern. And even on the backside down toward deep East Texas, we could have some newer rounds of rain come through as the upper level system works its way down through our area and moving up to the north and to the northeast. So still looking at some rain and still a chance for a few more showers until that cold front comes in, which will give us our first dry weekend in a while for all of us as we get toward Thursday afternoon. Look at our severe threats here in East Texas. We're really emphasizing that damaging wind gusts will be the highest concern. I can't rule out a couple of isolated tornadoes. Our weather energy certainly is going to be present. The actual extra mesoscale features will be there, but since it's forming more so of a line, not really concerned about a whole lot of tornadoes, but we cannot rule them out. Large hail could be possible, and even some flooding could occur too, because check this out, Jim. Our rainfall totals from Wednesday into Thursday could easily total once again between 1 and some cases almost 3 inches of rainfall for us. So that's going to be our next chance for us to have more strong to severe thunderstorms. And Jim, we're watching for that possibility of some additional heavier rainfall that could come back into East Texas with this next round of storms that will come through. Of course, we're going to be watching things closely here in the Storm Center. Our timing is going to be late Wednesday night, especially the early morning hours, lasting through about midday Thursday.
Marcus, thank you for that information. I know you'll keep all your viewers there in East Texas safe from this next round of severe weather. Appreciate that. Right now, let's travel on north or northwest to Kevin Selly. He's at KFDX in Wichita Falls. Kevin, I was just talking about Wichita Falls last week. It was 40 years to the day of one of the worst tornadoes ever in Texas, devastated Wichita Falls. So I'm sure there are many people around there who still get a little nervous in these type of situations. But am I right that only part of your area is in that enhanced risk area tomorrow?
Yeah, that's very true, Jim. We're always thinking this time of year about the '79 tornado, but this being the 40th anniversary, spending a little extra time reflecting on that. We're really blessed in Wichita County, though, to have one of the best spotter networks, Charlie Byers and his crew, keeping us safe during severe weather. But yeah, you're right. We are on the, well, see, our eastern edge in that enhanced risk area. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things that we'll be looking at as the day dawns tomorrow and as we go on through midday. First, we're going to be watching the amount of sunshine. It's been mostly cloudy here today, but I think we'll see some breaks in those clouds early in the day. And of course, sunshine is the fuel that's going to start building in the atmosphere, and see how warm we can get, how much energy is available to start popping those thunderstorms. We'll be tracking the dry line, of course, through the day. That's that boundary between warm, moist, humid, unstable air to the east and the drier air to the west across the panhandle. That in the early afternoon starts mixing the atmosphere, and that thing starts to move eastward. So the position of that will be key as we go on through early to mid-afternoon. And then, of course, the cap, that layer of warm air just above the surface. How strong will that be? Can we get enough energy to punch those updrafts through that cap and start developing those thunderstorms? Here's the SPC outlook that you mentioned. Of course, the enhanced area is on our eastern counties and then eastward across I-35 into eastern Oklahoma, northeast Texas, down your way into central Texas for Texoma. And we're either side of the Red River. Our easternmost counties are in that enhanced area. Then from Lawton to Wichita Falls to Graham southward through the yellow areas, that's the slight risk area. Marginal would be Altus, Vernon, southward through Seymour. Now, everybody should remember, whether you're in Texoma or central Texas, of course, that severe weather can happen in any of those colored areas. It's just a little bit less likely in the darker green area, and the probability of finding severe weather near you or a point in that red area is a little higher as you get into the enhanced risk area. Going to be an interesting setup for us. We'll have warm, moist, humid air. We've already got it today. The dew point's been running near 60 for much of the afternoon. You're going to be sending us some moisture from central and south Texas. It's coming in on those southerly and southeasterly winds. And of course, thunderstorms like to develop on boundaries. So we're going to be looking for the triple point. We'll have a warm front somewhere near the Red River. We'll have that purple line, the occluded front, coming from the low pressure area in the panhandle. The blue and yellow lines, dry line, and a cold front, and the triple point is where those meet. That's a boundary. Thunderstorms like to develop on boundaries, and that's 3 boundaries that we'll be watching there somewhere in our area. It looks like it might be in the central or southern portions of Texoma, or maybe just to the south. Principal threat as these get going will be strong straight line wind gusts. We could easily see some quarter-size hail from some of these storms. They'll start to rapidly develop, I think, as single-cell storms. We're talking about late afternoon, maybe into the early evening hours just before sunset. And then I think what we'll see is probably what we've seen a lot of the last 2 years, is a developing quasi-linear convective system, or a line of thunderstorms. As I mentioned, last 2 years here, a lot of those have developed here, and what we see is the tornado possibility on the leading edge of that line of thunderstorms. Those are quick to develop. They're not particularly strong, but they can do damage, and they're quick to dissipate, so they're really difficult to forecast and to track. So we'll be watching that as well. Going backwards a little bit, it was an interesting weekend all across Texas. For us, we had regular 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts all day. We peaked out with a gust near 70 at Shepherd Air Force Base, and we set a rainfall record. The old record, 1999, was 1.85 inches of rain. We shattered that record on Saturday with 2.51 inches of rain. That means branches have been weakened, root systems have been weakened, the ground is still wet, so we'll see what kind of damage we can see from falling trees and limbs as these thunderstorms develop. Here's our vision of Futurecast. It's the RPM model. Fairly quiet overnight and through much of the day. The amount of sunshine will be key. Here's 8 p.m. tomorrow night. You see thunderstorms just starting to develop south and on the eastern edge of Texoma. They'll develop rapidly as we go on through the evening hours. We'll see where that dry line sets up, of course, as the system moves by early Thursday. A little wraparound moisture will bring some clouds, maybe a shower or two in a couple of spots, and I think by Thursday afternoon we are pretty much done. So we're in that waiting game right now, Jim, and we're just going to hope that our friends at the Fort Worth Weather Office and the Norman Weather Office will give us one of those midday balloons, the 18Z balloons, and we get a better idea on the cap and the setup for the storms tomorrow, Jim.
See there, audience? I told you it's going to be a deeper dive. Meteorologist Kevin Selly from KFDX in Wichita Falls. That was some excellent information for you, talking about the triple point and how tornadoes form on the QLCS. That is a deep dive. Thank you, Kevin. You folks in Wichita Falls, you are in good hands up there, I assure you, and in Tyler and in Waco. Thanks to all of my colleagues for joining us tonight as we describe this Texas severe weather we're expecting tomorrow. Let's talk about Austin now. Each one of my colleagues there showed you this graphic with the enhanced severe weather risk area, but I want you to notice down here in Austin, we are on the southern end of that risk area. And we're hopeful that that means we won't be seeing the baseball-size hail, for example, that Mike talked about up around Waco. We may have some hailstones golf ball size or larger tomorrow night, and maybe some wind gusts to 70 miles per hour. But we too think the tornado threat down here, kind of like Mike described up there, or Kevin described actually up in the Wichita Falls area, that the type of tornadoes that might form would be those that form on the squall line. Those tend to be weaker, and the later we get into the night, the less likely those are even. Now, we can have a tornado at 2 o'clock in the morning. There's no doubt about that, but we think the tornado threat tomorrow is lower than the large hail and the damaging wind threat. Let me take you through our local timeline here, as we are expecting only showers during the day. Now, we could see a thunderstorm break the cap. You heard Kevin also talk about the cap tomorrow. If a thunderstorm gets through that stable layer, it could go severe at 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And our latest model run here is trying to develop a few thunderstorms in the late afternoon. But we still think the main show will be late tomorrow night. There's 11 p.m. Notice the squall line getting into Llano County, Gillespie County at midnight. At 1 a.m., Eastern Hill Country, Gillespie County. At 2 a.m., spreading into the Austin metro area, heavy downpours of rain, a few strong to severe thunderstorms. 3 a.m., Williamson County, Travis County, Hayes County, and surrounding counties, seeing strong to maybe some severe thunderstorms. Again, the deeper you get into the middle of the night, hopefully the less we'll see in the way of severe weather. That's typically how it works. But notice 4:30 a.m., it's still raining moderately to heavily in the metro area in our eastern counties. But then by 7 a.m., sun coming up, rain ending east, and the skies even beginning to clear. And we think Thursday is going to be what will turn out to be a fine day across the area. And good news, as Marcus talked about over there for you folks in Tyler, you are going to have a nice weekend as well. And you haven't had many of those lately. We feel your pain here in Austin. We've had some rough weather here over a couple of weekends in a row, which is maybe a nice day here, a nice day there. But we think the weather's going to be nice across most of Texas, in fact, from wherever you're watching me right now, from Thursday all the way through Easter Sunday. So how about that timing? Listen, we're going to be back for another one of these Texas Storm Stream live streams tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 in the afternoon. So make sure you join us for an updated analysis on what the newer models are saying as we get closer to that storm's evolution tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. Again, that's at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon, streaming right here on your station's website. On behalf of our Next Star Texas stations, I'm Jim Spencer here in Austin. Thank you for joining us, and good night.